Welcome back to Quiz Taco. Today we're going to play Would You Rather, the dog edition. Don't forget to subscribe for all of our other quizzes and games, and drop a like if you enjoyed this one. The rules are simple. We're going to give you 2 different dog breeds, and you just decide which one you think is cuter. That's it. Ready? Let's get started. Which of these dogs is cuter? A golden retriever or a Labrador retriever? Which of these dogs is cuter? The Pomeranian or the Chihuahua? Which of these dogs is cuter? The Husky or the German Shepherd? Which is cuter? The Beagle or the Dachshund? Which is cuter, a Poodle or a Shih Tzu? Which of these guys is cuter, the Corgi or the French Bulldog? Which of these guys is cuter, the Samoyed or Akita? Which of these puppies is cuter, the Rottweiler or the Doberman? Which of these guys is cuter, the Boxer or the Pit Bull? Which dog is cuter, the Dalmatian or a Great Dane? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Border Collie or Australian Shepherd? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Chow Chow or the Shar Pei? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Maltese or the Bichon Frise? Which dog is cuter, the Boston Terrier or the Pug? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Alaskan Malamute or the Husky? Which dog is cuter, the Jack Russell Terrier or the Fox Terrier? Which dog is cuter, the Yorkshire Terrier or the Silky Terrier? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel or the Papillon? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Newfoundland or the St. Bernard? Which dog do you think is cuter, Greyhound or Whippet? Which dog do you think is cuter, English Bulldog or a French Bulldog? Which dog do you find cuter, the Afghan Hound or the Saluki? Which dog is cuter, the Shiba Inu or the Kishuken? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Cane Corso or the Mastiff? Which dog is cuter, Cane Corso or Mastiff? Which dog is cuter, the Leonberger or the Great Pyrenees? Which dog is cuter, the Brussels Griffon or the Affenpinscher? Which dog is cuter, the Havanese or the Lhasa Apso? What dog do you think is cuter, the Tibetan Spaniel or the Tibetan Terrier? Which of these fluffy dogs do you think is cuter, the Keeshond or the Samoyed? Which dog do you find cuter, the Shetland Sheepdog or the Collie? Which dog is cuter, the Irish Setter or the Gordon Setter? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Cocker Spaniel or the Springer Spaniel? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Belgian Malinois or the German Shepherd? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Bloodhound or the Basset Hound? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Labradoodle or the Golden Doodle? Which dog is cuter, the Cockapoo or the Cavapoo? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Pomsky or the Maltipoo? Which dog is cuter, the Bernedoodle or the Sheepadoodle? Which of these puppies is cuter, the Husky or the Samoyed? Which puppy is cuter, the Pug or the French Bulldog? Which dog is cuter, the Beagle puppy or the Dachshund puppy? Which dog is cuter, the Golden Retriever puppy or the Labrador puppy? Which dog is cuter, the Rottweiler puppy or the German Shepherd puppy? Which puppy is cuter, the Chihuahua or the Pomeranian? Which of these puppies is cuter, the Shih Tzu or the Maltese puppy? Which of these dogs is cuter, the Dalmatian puppy or the Great Dane puppy? Which dog do you think is cuter, the Husky puppy or the Malamute puppy? Which of these puppies is cuter, the Yorkie puppy or the Papillon puppy? Which dog is cuter, the Cavapoo puppy or the Cockapoo puppy? That's the end of Would You Rather, the dog edition. Which of these puppies did you find the cutest? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for all of our quizzes and games. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and share with a friend to see what they'd choose. As always, thanks for watching, and you can always catch us next time right here on Quiz Taco.